I think it's really, really wrong. And I'm up early this morning and it's still kind of heavy on like my heart and how I feel about, you know, how I was treated at my last job. So I felt as if I was treated unfairly. I was treated unfairly because I was brought in to do a job. I was brought in to do something that was told for me to do. I didn't get the support after the job was handed to me. I started to see that, you know, I had to figure things out on my own. Mind you, I've never been in a position where I didn't have full training on something and the duties and the responsibilities of running something I've never ran before. Mind you, I've never ran a winery before, right? So I don't know anything about the winery. But the person that offered me the job was a person that seemed like he really truly cared about the things that I've done in my past. He was just working with me for a short period of time. He saw something in me apparently at the time, and he wanted to bring that forward into the winery. So he had a vision apparently, but that vision didn't really become into full effect because he was dealing with somebody who wasn't even on the same page as him. Okay. They both weren't on the same page. You got a CEO and then you got a COO. And apparently the COO was over the CEO. Now the CEO hired me. Right. So long story short, when I'm in there, you know, just being in there for a couple of weeks and a month, there was things that weren't communicated to me. There was things that they assumed that I was supposed to know, or it was just lack of communication. It was lack of communication across the board. So basically I had to get with somebody who actually supposedly have known the winery and know the people. Now this is where the problem is too, but I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to the problem. I'm gonna get to the other problems. But the person, excuse me, apparently jumped in and decided to assist me and get me going and show me what they do at the winery. But technically the person that was leading me was also blind too, because they didn't know much either. And they didn't know the expectations that was needed from the new owner. Right. But apparently everybody's friends too. They all friends. Everybody is friends in this whole fucking industry. Excuse my language, but they're all friends. And when you mix in friends and business, it just doesn't go well. It doesn't go well at all. And friendship overrided the business side of what was needed. Now I'm a person that stands out. Like I'm not here to be friends with anybody. I'm here to actually learn the business, learn what is next, the next steps of my career, or what I was trying to do for myself is bettering myself. I mean, it was a great opportunity to be a hotel manager. And what I thought as being a hotel manager, it was like thrown in my face like, no, you're not really a hotel manager, because I didn't even have a say so into doing things. If I did make a decision on something that I felt that was right based off of my hospitality skills and the knowledge that I know, it was like a slap. Like, who said this? Who told you to do this? Who said that? It's like, what? Like, so you don't want to do things right. You basically want to do things wrong, or you just don't know how to do it. I never understood it. But so I've been there for 11 months, right? I've been there for 11 months. And out of that 11 months, I had to basically figure out a lot of stuff on my own. I had to figure it out, and I was learning as I was going. And it seems like my demeanor or my aura or who I am really probably took effect on a lot of people, maybe intimidating to a lot of people. One, I'm the only brown skinned girl in there. Not really the only brown skinned girl. There was another brown skinned girl, right? But she was in the back of the house. I'm in the front of the house. Okay. I'm a brown skinned girl in the front of the house in a winery with nothing but white people. Okay. So look how that looks. You have a brown skinned girl taking charge in a winery where there's nothing but white people that come in all the time. There's no other color but white people, right? 99.9% of people that come in that winery are white people, right? And the location I was in, it was like a historical location that didn't really like black people. You know what I'm saying? So imagine me trying to fit in this environment and and standing out. And I stand out because I'm the only one in there that's a leader in that color. You know what I'm saying? And so it was intimidating to some people. Probably was intimidating to the owners before the other owner took over. So long story short, I get pulled in from my CEO, the one that's quote unquote hired me, right? And he's telling me, hey, you know, they want to eliminate the position, which is the hotel manager position. Now, I didn't immediately go to race as the key. I immediately thought, okay, well, I knew that was coming. My thing was finances. And yes, true of it was finances. I do believe that part. But I also believe that there were some other things, and I couldn't just really point them all out. I didn't want to jump to conclusions, but I knew from looking at how we weren't be able to buy anything, we couldn't do payroll. Like, it was so many issues in that area where people were getting paid less, or people just, you couldn't afford to pay anybody their actual worth of pay. And I took it as, okay, that's fine. And he was like, let's just say that, you know, you wanted to resign or whatever. And I was like, all right, bet, that's fine. I mean, I said, I kind of knew it was kind of coming, which deep down inside I did, because I started looking at my pay. That was the first thing I really looked at, was my pay. And I immediately, you know, put it in 2 weeks. The COO wanted to remove my position immediately. And I felt like, you to remove somebody's position without even giving them the chance to find something else as a job was very, very like tasteless. Like, you just going to rip a position out of from underneath somebody, and you can't even communicate. You couldn't even communicate. You had to ask your boy to do it. That's you already got bad business, bro. You already got bad business. You really don't know what you're doing. So when I got the position removed, taken, or whatever you want to call it, I knew after me being there for the remaining 2 weeks, he allowed me to stay. The whole aura about the whole company changed. Like, everybody around me started changing. The feelings, everybody started looking at me. People wouldn't even speak to me. Then they immediately started doing stuff. So it's like, why was I there? What was the point of me being there, right? So I started putting PTO in. To cover the days. So I was like, I don't think I feel comfortable when I got people around me making me feel uncomfortable. That's start. You're making me feel fucking uncomfortable, like I did something wrong. Now, granted, I may have talked some shit online, but I never talked about the company itself. So I do, you know, when I get on TikTok, we talk and we have fun. You know, sometimes I may stream up there, but nothing harmless that is going to harm the company, right? So when I started feeling uncomfortable, I was just like, yeah, let me put PTO in. Let me cover the days. And then he was like, I will grant you your PTO or whatever for the days that you are requested off. And I said, that's a cool bet. So I was in the midst of helping the assistant that was also a brown skinned girl. She was put in a position to be my assistant. So you promoted her to be my assistant. So I assumed that she was going to take over my spot, which it makes sense to do that after me training her and everything. But that wasn't the case. That wasn't even the freaking case. But we're going to get to that part. So I'm waiting on my pay and everything. In the midst of pay, you know, I found out, and I already knew deep down inside, I said, they're going to wind up giving it to his assistant, the CEO's assistant, because one, she's European or whatever she is. And she also is a lighter skin color than me. And she looks the part. But have no fucking skills at all. Like, literally no skills. She can't even do anything as management wise. And I hate when people put people in positions because they look like they can do it, but can't do shit. I hate that. But they gave it to her, and everything that I know in secret, I already know what was said. I already know what was done. I don't have to be in a room full of people to know what was said and done in pertaining to me or pertaining to any others. And I tell people, stop trying to hide the truth, because it's always going to reveal itself. It will always reveal itself. And and in ways it did. In ways it is doing it. But I knew they was going to give her the position. That's what they did. But don't lie in my face and tell me that you're closing my positions because you didn't need a hotel manager. But you gave it to somebody who looks the part and who's not brown skinned, who's not going to take the pay that I was taking, probably taking less, or they could have offered her a little bit more. And she has multiple positions, but she cannot do it. She cannot do it. She can't do it. But I took that as, okay, that's being racist to me. I felt like a lot of it was because I was a black young lady and I just didn't look the part. I can be intimidating, just my aura, how I carry myself. I'm a boss. And when I say things that are true, it's intimidating to people who can't say it, or people who just don't know. Like they wish they knew they could, or wish they could do that, but they can't. But when you got a brown skinned girl that can do it, it's intimidating to you because you're the one that looks the part. You're the one that got the money. You're the one that's supposed to know X, Y, and Z. But this brown skinned girl knows X, Y, and Z? Oh, hell no. She is not going to be in my elite over top of me. And I'm supposed to be the one on top. That's how they look. This is how the scale looks. I'm telling y'all, this is how the whole scale looks. And I was I was removed. And I was like, that's like, I'm thinking like, oh, are we going to really get away from this? But we never really got away from race. We never got really away from it. It's just simmered down. It's just on a pot simmering. That's it. It's on low heat simmering. That's what it is. And I'm starting to see it a lot, not just with me. Somebody else also had an incident too, being a brown skinned person, and somebody lighter than them took something away from them. They put in a notice and they felt that they did the right thing. They put in their notice and they were moving on to the next job. Somebody pulled, oh, you don't have to work this, or you don't have to do this, oh, I'm going to pay you your PTO, but you never paid them their PTO. Like, this is the stuff. People are doing things out of spite. And my check, I had just got my check from my last job. Now, granted, like I told you, I put in my PTO and everything, and I did work days, and I did help a train and assist. Because I wasn't physically on site, driving an hour, I was still working. My system was still up. They saw emails, they saw everything, and I put in PTO. Do you think they paid me all my money? Do you think they paid me all my money on my last check? Hell no. Hell no. They shorted my check so much. My check was so freaking short. I'm trying not to cuss, because I done cussed, I think, maybe 3 times already since I've been up here. But my check was so short, my last check. So I hit up, and I knew it deep down inside. And this is what's so that's why I love discernment. That's why I love God. Because deep down inside, I was like, I felt they was like, they're going to shorten your check on purpose. They shortened my check. And when I got it, now this was about a couple of weeks ago when I was trying to wait on my money, and it happened this week. I got paid yesterday, and my check was super short. And so I hit up the CEO that hired me, quote unquote. And I said, hey, my check is short. I was like, but I did work days. I did come in on days. And I said, and I also put PTO in to cover the days that I needed, that I was not there on site, but helping also. And do you think he said anything to me? He never replied. He never looked at the message, or he probably did look at the message, but he never replied to me. After, I forgot to tell you this part, after, when he came to me about my position being closed, he told me if I ever need anything to reach him. And this is the day that I did it. And he didn't respond. It's been 24 hours, sir. You always on your phone. So why you didn't respond to that? Because you knew deep down inside that they was going to do that to me. You knew that. You knew they was going to do that. You knew they was being spiteful. You knew that I wasn't a likable like I wasn't a person that they preferred to be a part of that winery. You knew that. You know. And you know it's all about race. You know it is. And then have the audacity to look me in my face and tell me there's nothing wrong. You did nothing wrong. You did everything great. You've done a lot to this place. But why are y'all treating me like I was a problem? And then you shorten me. I did nothing wrong. but be a brown skinned girl who knew how to lead and who knew how to stand her ground. That's all I did. I knew. And I know a lot. But let me tell you something. What's done in the dark, baby, comes to the light. And what you do spitefully, nothing good comes out of it. You guarantee what I tell you. What you do out of spite, you got to be careful what you do to people. You got to be careful who you do it to, because you don't know who God has chosen. You don't know who God has chosen. And for you to sit there and play with his children like that, God knows something is not going to happen great for you. Just know that. You will reap it. You are going to go through hell. You have to be careful of how you treat people. I'm so serious. And you know what? At first, my first instinct was to be upset about the whole thing. I'm supposed to be angry. I'm supposed to step up there. I'm supposed to raise hell. I'm supposed to act my race. I'm supposed to act ignorant. I'm supposed to be a person who ain't got no sense to come up there and raise hell. But I'm not going to do that. That's not who I am. That's not who I am. Because people look at brown skinned people and assume that they're just going to be ignorant. No, I'm not going to be ignorant. There's more power in the tongue than it is with my fist and me being physical with you. It's more power in the tongue. I promise to God it is. I ain't got to touch you. I tell people all the time, I ain't got to fight you. I ain't got to touch you. I ain't got to do nothing to you. But you know what? It is what it is. I'm not upset because I knew deep down inside, and I knew God was going to cover me, and he's been covering me. God is covering me. But let that be a lesson, y'all. You know, it don't even matter. It don't even matter anymore, because these people in this day and age, I feel like they're bringing race back. I feel like they're bringing it back to the front now and making it an issue about putting people in position, which I honestly don't like.